Hello everyone, thank you for joining this training session on how to work with loads on GenSelect. This video will cover everything you need to know about the load tabs on your project. We are going to start on the Add Loads tab. Please note that to get to this tab, you need to have completed the Define Site Conditions part of your project. To get quickly into the Add Loads tab, the only mandatory item you need to complete on the Define Site Conditions tab is the project name. Now, we are getting started with the Add Loads tab. You can see here on the top, there is a load menu with all the standard pre-configured loads you can add on your project. If you hover your mouse over the icons, you can see the description of each load. There are two ways you can add your loads. The first one is to right-click on the load you want to add. An Add to Step option will appear and you can choose which step you want to add your load. The second way to add your load is to simply drag and drop the load into the step that you want. Once the load is added to a step, a dialog box specific for that load will appear. On this box, you can change the quantity of the load and you can also change some of the specifications, but the only mandatory item is the output rating. Depending on the type of the load you're adding, the output rating can be specified in kilowatts, horsepower, and others. Each load has a question mark on the upper right corner of the box, and this will take you to a help article that talks about the specific items on each load. After you have added the output rating, there are two ways of saving the load. On the upper right corner of the box, you can see a save icon, and at the bottom, there is a save button. You can now continue adding your loads to each step based on your project specification. The dialog box will appear each time, and you will be asked to add the output rating of each load. Remember to save each time a load is added. By left-clicking on the load icon again, it will reopen the dialog box and you can change any information you want for that existing load. If you right-click on the load, a menu will show up with some options that will help you manage your loads. The first option is to lock your loads. This option is only available for loads that are added to the first step, and it will prevent the optimizer tool to move your loads when running the optimization. If you click lock one more time, it will unlock the load. The second option on the menu is to copy. This will allow you to copy a load into the same step that it's currently in. When select the copy option, you can define how many copies you want for that load with a maximum of 25 copies. Click continue and GenSelect will create a copy of the load with the same information within the same step. If you want to copy a load, but instead of having it on the same step, you want to add it to a different one, you can use the copy to step option. With that, you can select which step the new load will be added, and the new load will be created as a copy of the load you selected. Another option is to move your load between steps. If you added a load into a step, but after doing some work, you decide that the load should be added into a different step, you can move it by selecting Move to Step. This will allow you to select which step you want to use, and the load will be removed from the original step and added to the new one. You can also do that by dragging and dropping the load in the desired step. Next, we have the shedding step functionality. With this, GenSelect will keep the load in the step that it's in, but it will remove the load from subsequent steps when it's running the size algorithm. The last option on the menu is to remove the load. This will remove the load completely from your project, and once it's done, you can't undo it, so be careful when deleting loads. Now I'll focus on the management of steps. You can see that on the load top bar, there are a couple of options. By clicking on the collapse button, you can hide or unhide the loads of a step. This is a good tool when working with a lot of steps. Also, by clicking on the three bars on the right, you can see a menu with some options. Here you can copy the entire step, and a new step is going to be added at the end of a project. And you can also do some bulk options that will be applied to more than one load at the same time. You can lock or unlock multiple loads, copy and move multiple loads at the same time, and you can delete them. When clicking in any of these options, you'll be asked to select which loads you want GenSelect to apply. Next, you can rename your step. This will keep your project more organized. The next option is to move your step. You can move it to the beginning, the end, or in between steps of your project. Continuing going through the menu, you can also sort the loads into a step according to your preferences. When clicking on Sort, a menu will show up with the different ways that you can sort the loads. All you need to do is select which one you want and click Sort. When sorting the loads into a step, the generator set suggested on the Select Generator Set tab doesn't change. The last item on the menu is to remove the step. This will completely delete it from your projects, removing all the loads as well. One great functionality on GenSelect that will help you size even faster is the ability to bulk add your loads to your project. This is very useful when you have got a lot of loads and you want to add them really quickly and efficiently. By clicking on the three bar buttons on the load menu, you can enter the bulk add loads option. Here you can simply select the load types you want to add, review the parameters, select the step, and add the output rating of your load. Click on the Add Loads button to add more loads. You can pre-select the load type you want to add before adding the new load, and GenSelect will know already which load type you want to add. When finishing, you have two options. First, you can click on Add Loads to the Project button, and GenSelect will add all the loads to the step indicated. This will not affect any load that you might have previously added. The second button is the Replace Loads in Project. By clicking on this button, GenSelect will remove all the loads you have previously added and will replace them with the new loads on the Add Bulk option. Keep in mind that GenSelect will not add loads if there is any blank line or if there is any missing information on the list. Now, we'll review one of the best ways to work with loads, especially when adding a big number of loads into a big number of steps. GenSelect has the ability to download and upload an Excel file. You can access by using the last two buttons of the load menu. First, you can download the template. This will give you a blank Excel file to work with all the different load types being the different tabs along the bottom. On the first tab of the Excel file, you can find some instruction on how to use the Excel upload functionality. All you need to do is select the load type that you want to add on your project and simply add the parameters of your load. Not all columns are mandatory, and if a column is left blank, GenSelect will set the default values for that parameter. Please note that output rating cannot be left blank, and GenSelect will not upload the file if this information is missing. I'll use as an example a file that I have created and added a couple of three-phase motor loads. When the Excel template is completed, you can go back to GenSelect and select the Import Load Template button. You can choose your file and click Import. This will upload all the loads from the Excel file and the bulk add load menu will appear. You can still do any change you want on this page, and once you're happy with the loads, you can select the Add Loads to Project button or Replace Loads in Project. As you can see, all loads have been added to the project following what the Excel file has defined. If you need more help with the Add Loads tab, click on the Help menu and select Help with this page. This will bring you to an article that explains the main points of this page. That brings us to the end of the load video. Thank you everyone for watching.